Hi everyone, we're here at the ASPCA to get some tips on keeping your pets safe this holiday season. And we're joined by ASPCA Veterinarian Dr. Emily Pointer. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of the items here. We've divided them into 3 categories, and they are toxic table foods, poisonous plants, and dangerous decorations. And let's start with the food. We have our chocolate turkey here. First, a lot of people know about chocolate, but remind us why it's so bad for pets.
Chocolate contains a very dangerous substance called methylxanthine. It can cause vomiting, diarrhea, abnormal heart rhythm, seizures, even death. And baker's chocolate and dark chocolate are the worst culprits.
Now, a lot of people wouldn't think turkey would be a problem, but it could be. Tell us why.
We see a lot of pancreatitis around the holidays. People want to do a nice thing for their pet. They give them a little treat, something fatty, like a chicken bone, something like that. And those things can cause inflammation around the pancreas that can be very, very serious. It can lead to diabetes and even death. Other thing I wanted to mention is that swallowing a chicken bone or a turkey bone, that bone can get lodged in the esophagus, it can get lodged in the small intestine, and both of those things can require surgery.
And there are some foods that would be in recipes that would be problematic. What are those?
That's true. Onions and garlic, especially, both of those items can cause vomiting and diarrhea, but more significantly, they can damage red blood cells, and that can cause anemia. One other thing I wanted to mention was grapes and raisins can cause kidney failure in dogs, so you want to make sure your dog isn't exposed to those items.
Okay, our next item, candy.
Candy, sugar-free candy, I think is the most significant thing that I want to talk about because it can contain xylitol. Xylitol can cause a fatally low blood sugar and can cause liver failure. So make sure that your pets are not exposed to any candy.
Okay, good information. Our next category is poisonous plants. We have the fake variety of poinsettias, mistletoe, and holly. Now, what is the problem with these?
I think in general the toxicity of these plants is overrated. All of them can cause vomiting and diarrhea, and mistletoe can actually cause, in very large quantities, depression of the heart muscle. But there are some other plants that are much more significant toxicities than these items. One thing I do want to mention, though, is, for example, with this holly, even the fake varieties can cause problems because if a little kitten were to swallow this little bead here, that could cause an intestinal obstruction and again could require surgery.
Now, a lot of folks around the holidays have beautiful floral arrangements in their home, but there are some flowers that are very dangerous to pets, right? Tell us about those.
Absolutely. The main one that I want to mention is lilies. Lily toxicity can cause fatal kidney failure in cats. So you want to make sure that if you do have a floral arrangement in your house, it's kept well away from your pets, and probably the best idea is to not have them at all.
What should folks do if they think that their pet has ingested one of these items?
The most important thing to do is to call poison control right away. The staff members there are going to talk you through what to do. In some cases, you want to have your pet throw up the toxic substance right away. In some cases, that's absolutely contraindicated. So they're going to take you step by step through what to do, and most of the time, they're going to want you to make a visit to your local veterinarian to have your pet evaluated.
So we've shifted to this side of the table now to talk about our third category, which is dangerous decorations. And I want to start right off the bat with a discussion of candles.
Candles can be really dangerous, and we see it a lot around the holidays. Pets can damage their paws by putting their paw into the flame. Also, you can cause damage to your home if your pet accidentally knocks the candle over. It could cause a house fire.
Right. So one alternative, especially for menorahs, where this would be a problem, is an electrical menorah.
Yep, I think this is a really good option. One thing I would like to mention, though, is you want to make sure that your pet doesn't have access to the electrical cord. Biting an electrical cord can cause seizures and cause problems with the lungs, so you want to make sure those things are covered and out of the way.
Okay. Probably the most evil thing on this table would be tinsel, right? This is a major no-no. First of all, this is still in the packaging, and look at it. This is a mess. This is a total mess. So tell us why this is such a problem.
I think all veterinarians hate tinsel. That is a foreign body waiting to happen. Cats are notorious for swallowing string. It can cause an intestinal obstruction and very often require surgery.
Yeah, so don't have tinsel.
Absolutely not. I hate it.
But what about garland? Here are some examples. What do you think of these?
I think this is probably a little bit better, but you can still see it has these string-like substances on it, and a cat could still become obstructed from this. And then this one, probably even a little bit better, but again, a cat or dog could swallow this and become obstructed. So I think it's very important to know your animal, monitor your animal, make sure that you don't leave things like this around if there's a possibility your pet could swallow it.
Ornaments.
Mm-hmm. I think glass ornaments can be a real problem around the holidays because if a pet were to bite into the ornament, it can cause a very serious laceration in the mouth. And even if he or she were just to knock the ornament off onto the floor, walking on that can cause lacerations on the paw pads. Pets have very sensitive paw pads, so that can be a real problem.
Okay, let's talk about the tree itself.
Okay. A couple of things I want to mention. One, you want to make sure that your tree is secured. Pets can have a tendency to jump up on the tree, try to pull it down, and even just racing around it, they can cause damage to themselves or damage to your property. You want to make sure you have a skirt cover to cover the water in the tree, especially if you're using a preservative in the water, because pets sort of find that irresistible to drink the water out of the tree. And lastly, I just want to remind people again that they need to have their electrical cords covered so that your pets are not exposed to them.
The last thing we want to talk about, a lot of folks around the holiday time decide to get a pet. What advice would you have?
I think it's a wonderful thing to bring a pet into your home. I know my pets have brought me so much joy over the years, but it's a real commitment and people need to think about that. A cat could live for 15 or 20 years. A dog could live 10, 12, 15 years. So this is a long-term commitment, both time-wise and financially. So you need to make sure you and your family are ready. And the last thing I want to mention is please come to a shelter to adopt your pet. There's so many needy animals that are just looking for a good home, and adoption is absolutely the best option.
Dr. Emily, great information. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for more holiday safety tips, visit ASPCA.org. I'm Susan Richard. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the new year on All for Animals.